Above the shimmering aurora of a transformed Earth, humanity took its final evolutionary step. The old ways of cold steel and burning rocket fuel were relics. The new fleet, the Empathic Armada, was grown, not built sleek vessels woven from living neural tissue. Each one bonded irreversibly to a single pilot. They were not flown. They were felt. Ayla's craft, the Erebus, was her other self. Its pearlescent hull shimmered with the light of her thoughts, and its corridors hummed with the rhythm of her heartbeat. When a flicker of anxiety crossed her mind, the ship's systems would stutter, the ambient light dimming. When determination straightened her spine, the Erebus would leap forward, its engines singing a silent, joyous hymn to the stars. It was more than a symbiosis. It was a constant, intimate dialogue between human consciousness and an intelligence that knew no language but emotion. Their first true test came not from the void, but from the Veer. They were a storm of gray uniformity, a swarm intelligence that consumed entire civilizations, not by destroying them, but by absorbing them, stripping away individuality until nothing but a silent, efficient node remained. They were the absolute antithesis of the Empathic Fleet, where the human ships were unique, emotional, and vulnerable. The Veer were countless, logical, and cold. The battle was joined in the silent theater of the Kuiper Belt. The Veer moved as one, a wave of geometric ships that sought to envelop and assimilate. Standard tactics were useless. For every ship evaded, 100 more shifted to fill the gap. The fleet's initial confidence turned to panic. Ayla felt the collective fear of her fellow pilots as a physical weight, and the Erebus trembled around her, its own light guttering. On the command channel, voices crackled with desperation, their terror feeding the Veer's advance. Ayla closed her eyes, blocking out the tactical displays. She reached not for a weapon, but for the core of her bond with the Erebus. She remembered the pain of her first loss, the joy of a childhood sunrise, the quiet strength of forgiveness she had once offered a friend. She understood then that the Veer were not evil. They were empty. They were a void that had never known the chaotic, beautiful spectrum of feeling that defined her own existence. They did not need to be fought. They needed to be felt. She leaned forward, her hand resting on the warm, organic console of her ship. "Not with fire," she whispered, her voice steady and soft. "Not with rage. Erebus, fly on forgiveness." The ship did not just obey, it understood. A wave of pure, resonant energy erupted from the Erebus, but it was not a weapon. It was a signal, a broadcast of the most complex and liberating emotion a consciousness can experience: unconditional empathy and forgiveness. It was a wave that carried the memory of every wrong righted, every grudge released, every heart mended. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic to the Veer's cohesion. The wave struck the leading edge of their fleet. Where it touched, the perfect, silent harmony of the swarm shattered. Individual Veer ships, for the first time, experienced a ghost of something other than the collective will, a fleeting, alien sensation of release, of peace, of self. Their flawless formation broke into a chaotic ballet of disoriented vessels. They did not explode. They simply drifted, their connection severed by an emotion their logic could not process. The battle was over. The remaining human ships, their own fears soothed by Ayla's broadcast, held their positions in awe. They had won not by overpowering their enemy, but by outfeeling them. Below on Earth, billions watched the silent, luminous victory. They saw the gray swarm dissolve not into fire, but into harmless, glittering dust. In that moment, the world glimpsed a profound truth. Consciousness was not a passive state. It was the ultimate propulsion. The power to move the universe did not lie in the force of a blast, but in the depth of a feeling. When we pilot our lives through empathy, even the impossible learns to move. For the greatest forces in existence are not those that break and bend, but those that understand and unite. The true journey is not through the cold, dark void, but into the warm, boundless universe of another's heart, and in that connection we find the power to reshape reality itself. Brought to you by Methos and Metrics Media. Please subscribe for more inspiring stories.